guys. Just sitting here reading some history, and sometimes I think history, there's just so much change. Like, look at this. All this change, right? Where does change come from? How do we have change in our society? It's easy to be like presidents, celebrities, like what are the Kardashians even doing, right? But that's not where real change comes from. Let's go find out where it does.
I have a little history lesson for you. Our school was established in 1867, not this building, but the whole school itself. And it was the only African American school in the state for almost 100 years. Now, in the 1870s, our principal for 50 years, so all the way up until 1920, I know, we're getting super old in our history lesson. She had this idea that every single student who came through this school should have the best education possible. But part of that was their community involvement. And she encouraged all of her students to get involved in the community as much as they possibly could. Notice that I said one person's name, Edwina Cruz, one individual person who was able to help influence education for so many countless students in the state of Delaware. Those students would go off to participate in community organizations that would lead to amazing movements like the women's suffrage movement. You know that right to vote, ladies? You can thank some Howard students for it. Also, the NAACP and participation in organizations that would help end segregation in the United States altogether. Which leads me to another very important movement. Let's fast forward a little bit, all the way up to the 1950s. Now, as I said, Howard, such an important school with so many influential individuals. For starters, you might have heard of the Supreme Court case Brown v. Board of Education, but did you know that your school, Howard High School, was involved in that case? And did you know how much it was involved? To start, it was a Howard family that was actually helping to sue at the state level. Additionally, it was a Howard alum, Lewis Redding, who is one of the attorneys who, by the way, did all of the court work for free and paid for things out of his own pocket that helped take the case all the way up to the Supreme Court to make it so that segregation in schools across the entire nation was illegal and unconstitutional. That means from Howard in Delaware all the way up to the national level, individuals made change. It's easy to feel discouraged when you look around society and see all of these things that need changing. But here I am standing in this historic building on the stage that Martin Luther King Jr. spoke on. And I'm sitting here thinking, gosh, I have such a legacy that I can uphold, this Howard legacy. It's your turn now. Your turn to go out into society and make some change like all those other countless people who came before you. So I have one question. What would you do?
2018 Howard graduate Camilla Diabate thought that there were many unfair challenges facing the Black community in Wilmington, Delaware. So to respond to that, she wrote a spoken word poem as part of a TEDx talk in Wilmington that she performed in front of many prominent Delaware politicians. Here's an excerpt.
Chase dreams but never reach them. Get books but never read them. Learn lessons but never teach them, so history repeats itself. We used to hang by ropes and now we hang by belts because the pain is too much and we're taught to hate ourselves. Suicide rates rise along with the homicides. We all shoot to kill even though it's not justified. I'm lucky I haven't died. The basic facts coincide. I'm Black in America where there's no safe place to hide. I'm from a place where guns and drugs are glorified. They personified our demons. They gave us dope to smoke and not everybody's scheming. They revoked our hope and that's why we keep on dreaming. Locked in chains, our wrists are bleeding. Locked in cuffs, another case we're pleading. Another life lost, everlasting grieving. Black lives matter, but do they matter to us?
Another 2018 graduate, Nadira Riley, became concerned when Wilmington elected Mike Przicki as our mayor in 2016. She was concerned that he would gentrify Wilmington. That is to say that he would raise costs in low-income and minority neighborhoods to push them out and to attract the rich. So, she wrote him a letter. Here's some of what she wrote. You have recently won the race to becoming the mayor of Wilmington, and I congratulate you and hope you will be a great mayor for our city in the following years. But truthfully, I feel that your ways are going against the 13th Amendment. She goes on to say, many people in the city are thirsty for jobs that never seem to come. Others are having their own homes taken away from them, and the city they live in is slowly losing its cultural rhythm. And I believe you, Mayor, can stop this before it becomes permanent. Howard has a phenomenal history in creating change where it is needed, from our involvement in Brown versus Board of Education, to Camilla's spoken word poetry on racial inequalities, and to Nadira's letter to Mayor Mike Purzycki about gentrifying our city. So my question to you is,
what will you do? What will you do?
What would you do?
What will you do?
What would you do?
For your school.
For your career area.
In Wilmington.
For the United States.
Across the globe.